easy, flowy conversation. This conversation is so powerful. I have to thank Dina for being so open and authentic with us. Yitzy Horowitz is basically a Jewish celebrity for those that know him, obviously. And there's for those that don't, stick around. You'll get to know who he is and what their family is about. It's a really beautiful episode, and this to me, to be able to have this conversation, to give both of them a voice on this platform has been a dream come true. I like to thank my sponsors. We're going to start the episode very soon. Shimon David ben Yaakov Shleima, as well as Miriam Sarah Bas Yaakov Moshe. And this episode is in memory of Simcha Beryl David, Olav Shalom, ben Avram Moshe, which you'll hear more about who he was, his legacy, and this new revolution called Simcha Time. What is that? We're going to get into it. But you
always blown my mind a little bit. 53% of you that listen to the show regularly haven't yet subscribed to the show. So could I ask you for a favor before we start? If you like the show and you like what we do here and you want to support us, the free, simple way that you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. And my commitment to you is if you do that, then I'll do everything in my power, me and my team, to make sure that this show is better for you every single week. We'll listen to your feedback, we'll find the guests that you want me to speak to, and we'll continue to do what we do. Thank you so much. Dr. Yvonne Burkhardt. I've consumed a lot of your content. I've seen your videos. I've read a ton of your work. Just to start, if you had to sort of encapsulate the warning that you're communicating to people into a sentence, what would that warning be?
Don't believe everything you see on a container, a bottle, or a product that you're buying.
Why? What's the consequence?
Is that if you're believing in the marketing and what you see on the
6 million subscribers on the Diary of a CEO. So me and my team would like to do something we've never done before as a little thank you. And we're calling it the Diary of a CEO subscriber raffle. And here is how it works. Every episode this month, we're going to pick 3 current subscribers at random. And we'll send one of you a £1,000 voucher, one of you tickets to come and watch the Diary of a CEO behind the scenes live with our team. And one of you will have a 10-minute phone call with me to discuss whatever you want to talk about. If you're a subscriber, you're in the raffle. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to do something that me and my team love doing so much. It is the greatest honor of my lifetime, and I hope it continues off into the future. Let's get to the episode. Dr. Mike, considering everything you do, from your podcast to all of the content you produce across your channels to the stuff you do in TV, everything, social media, all of it, how do you summarize the overarching mission that you're on at
defend or rationalize the president often say, what are you talking about? Nothing so very dramatic is happening. Life in the United States still proceeds more or less the way it always did. People go to work every day. They listen to music. They go watch sports. What has really changed? It's hard for people who make these rationalizations to see or pay enough attention to or care enough about the slow dissolution of the fabric of law in the society. Donald Trump has never accepted that he is bound by law. He doesn't believe he has any duty to enforce the law impartially in office. He never has. He never will. January 6th, his attempt to overthrow the election of 2020 is the most dramatic and violent of these manifestations. But since he has become president in 2025, we have seen again and again and again the president declare that he is not bound by clear law. It began with his refusal to spend monies appropriated by Congress, the whole DOGE program. When Congress votes the money and the president signs the bill,
and this algorithm tells us, I don't know, just assumes this is what you're going to want to see, this is what you're going to want to read. I don't know. It gets really confusing, right? Long story short, what I'm getting at is that Google and the internet is filled with correct information where you can learn a lot of stuff, but actually there's a ton of misinformation online. I know, shocker. Whoa. Misinformation? Whoa. What if I told you there was a time when people who sensationalize things were so dedicated to the idea of shocking people that they started printing misinformation just to sell papers? I know, you're probably like, yeah, no shit. And what if I told you there was a point in time where misinformation started a whole ass war, like guns and bombs and a real war? Oh yeah. Let me tell
What's he doing?
It's started like an avalanche. The whole thing fell. The whole thing fell. Got it, yeah. They all felt. Oh, there you go. I got it. This is an eggplant. It's great. Is that like an app that tells you like the price?
Oh, no. Just shop for the customers and somebody else deliver.
So you shop for somebody else?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
This is ballsy.
So this is like an app that just does it?
Oh, she didn't hear ball. She didn't hear ball.
It has all types of stuff. So.
How does it work though?
She blocked it.
You basically, so
I've covered in my career. I'm still trying to make sense of it all. Let's bring in trial attorney Krista Ramey to help us out too. Krista, have you ever seen a case like this before?
You know, it's like, no. Well, first of all, no. And it's almost as if these men adopted these children for this explicit purpose, to exploit these children. And so it's just, it turns my stomach. It's terribly disturbing.
The details of the case are very disturbing, upsetting, as you said, but let's start way at the beginning. The adoption. What you said, I think, kind of sounds true, the fact that they adopted these kids with the intent to abuse them. But it does get me thinking, we have a huge need for adoption in our country. How can we make sure that these adoptive parents aren't going to, I know this
my tracks. There's at least one recorded instance of friendly social interaction between prisoners and Unit 731 staff. Technician Naokota Ishibashi interacted with two female prisoners. One prisoner was a 21-year-old Chinese woman, the other a Soviet girl who was 19 years of age. Ishibashi asked where she came from and learned that she was from Ukraine. The two prisoners told Ishibashi that they had not seen their faces in a mirror since being captured and begged him to get one. Ishibashi sneaked a mirror to them through a hole in the cell door. And that bothers me so much more than a lot of the other information I read. And the reason for that is because, again, I'm pretty desensitized to just brutality, right? Like the number of historical stories I read about that has to do with people getting, skinned alive or, brutal executions. Like that's just history.
Despite the firefighters' constant urges to please just jump, they would stay put and they would die in the fire. And so fire departments all over America were desperately trying to find ways to educate the American public about the relative safety of these nets, that certainly making this jump is a better bet than staying in an actively burning building. But despite their efforts, Americans were still staying put in these buildings and dying unnecessarily. In 1883, which was around the time of this deadly phenomenon, a diving instructor working out of Washington, D.C. named Robert Odlum heard about this issue, and he thought to himself, if Americans just maybe saw someone make the jump successfully, they wouldn't be afraid anymore. And since Robert was a diving instructor and so was very comfortable jumping from heights, he thought, well, who better to make these demonstrations than me? And so, in collaboration with several Washington, D.C. fire departments, Robert began hosting these
Quick one. This is really, really fascinating to me. On the back end of our YouTube channel, it says that 69.9% of you that watch this channel frequently over the lifetime of this channel haven't yet hit the subscribe button. I just wanted to ask you a favor. It helps this channel so much if you choose to just subscribe. Helps us scale the guests, helps us scale the production, and it makes this show bigger. So if I could ask you for one favor, if you've watched this show before and you've enjoyed it and you like this episode that you're currently watching, could you please hit the subscribe button? Thank you so much, and I will repay that gesture by making sure that everything we do here gets better and better and better and better. That is a promise I'm willing to make you. Do we have a deal? Dr. Aditi Naruka. Where does your story begin? And when I say that, I'm talking about the story that inspired the work you do on stress, burnout. There tends to be a catalyst moment in the experts that I